Hello, my name's Janet King and I'm the Sector Manager for Education and Childcare. This webinar will consider the structure and arrangements for the T-level in the context of early years and assisting teaching for education and childcare. Let's start by looking at that structure. So the T-level in education and childcare is a 2-year full-time programme. The first year of the programme is made up of what is referred to as the core. Within the core are 12 elements, underpinning knowledge and theoretical concepts for education and childcare, spanning the age range from birth to 19 years. The study of this follows a linear approach rather than one that's modular. So this makes formative assessment much more critical and crucial in determining students' preparation for external assessment, as well as needing the knowledge, skills and behaviours required for competence. And occupational specialism will also form the part of this T-level. So let's have a look first of all at the assessment, the external assessment. Let's take a closer look at the external assessment. Assessment of the core is arranged as examination and employer set project. The examination aspect is arranged as paper A and paper B. Paper A looks at elements 1 to 6 and paper B elements 7 to 12 taken from the core. Those elements are each arranged around topic areas in education and childcare that you will be familiar with if you've taught in this area before. So things like child development, legislation, behaviour and so on, all of which will make up that core. Each exam will be two hours in duration, and the employer set project is arranged through a controlled scenario type. Students can choose from either early years or assisting teaching scenarios. Grading from the core for the external assessment is A* to E. Before we start looking at the occupational specialisms, let's just take a look at the next slide. Okay, so here we have a summary of the duration and the weightings of the assessment for the core. So paper A, 2 hours, looking at those elements 1 to 6 from the specification, and paper B, again 2 hours, but this time looking at elements 7 to 12. And students will take those in sort of not one after the other, but in a very close period of time. The employer set project sounds as though this is something that students will do in collaboration with a work placement. It is not. It is an application of skills through the knowledge that they have learned and developed as part of that core. So let's move on now to take a closer look at the occupational specialisms. There are currently 2 occupational specialisms, early years and assisting teaching. The students will select one occupational specialism in this part of the programme, and theory and practice now really do begin to come together. The breadth of the core is now taken to a deeper level in terms of early years or assisting teaching. Early years students and those following assisting teaching will complete placement hours now as part of their study. And rather than elements that we've referred to in the core, they will now work through a series of performance outcomes. There are 5 performance outcomes in the early years specialism and 4 for assisting teaching. The assignments are arranged into 3. For early years, assignment 1 considers planning. Assignment 2 is offered as 2 parts. Part 1, looking at the completion of a portfolio of evidence, capturing those early years education criteria. and Part 2 consisting of 3 structured and graded observations. Assignment 3 considers observation, methodologies for observing and evaluation. The assisting teaching occupational assessment, external assessment, is also arranged in 3 discrete areas. Assignment 1, looking at planning, this time looking at lesson planning, of course, and differentiation. Assignment 2, just the 3 structured observations, as there are no criteria from a professional body that needs to be achieved. And assignment 3, that looks at observation-related skill and techniques. Each occupational specialism will be graded pass, merit, or distinction. So let's just have a little think about Assignment 2 Part 1 and Assignment 2 Part 2 for the early years. Students that are following the early years occupational specialism will receive a qualification that meets the EYE criteria. With that in mind, Part 1 is looking at all of those competencies, looking at those skills, building a portfolio of evidence, if you like. And those of you who are used to that approach and who are assessing students with skills and competencies as part of an EYE qualification now will find some familiarity in that approach. And Assignment 2, Part 2 for the early years are 3 structured observations. So a given situation, criteria aligned and allocated to that situation, students will then plan and they will be observed and be able to take part in a professional discussion in order to meet that criteria. In summary, 12 elements make up the core. There are resources to support teaching and delivery based around thematic schemes of learning. External assessment of the core is through Paper A and Paper B examination, as well as an employer set project. Occupational specialisms focus on a cohesion of skills and knowledge, adding depth to the breadth of the core through a specialized approach. The occupational specialisms are externally assessed with 3 assignments. Early years students will aim to complete 750 hours over the 2-year program and achieve a qualification that allows direct entry to the workforce at level 3. Both routes maximize UCAS allocation. I hope you found this webinar useful. I know you are likely to have questions, you are likely to want to find out more, and please do use the contact details on the slide there. Don't hesitate to get in touch, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you.